take your beer goggles off right now and beware about SoFi and Robinhood because I believe these stocks are absolutely about to take off. And I want to go over the technicals on SoFi because I made a video on Monday when this stock hit $25 per share. And I said the stock is an absolute steal. And already it has had a really huge bounce back to $28 per share. And I personally believe that SoFi is going to continue to run. However, you need to be aware of position sizing, and we also need to be aware of some of the risks involved in SoFi and Robinhood. I'm going to give you an objective overview of the good and the bad and why I believe these two stocks are the best stocks that you should be invested in right now. And I'll give you a price target for both of these stocks. So let's not waste any time. Let's jump right into it. Let's talk about the key news and developments of SoFi and why I am so bullish. Number one is expansion into option trading. Number two is blockchain. Number three is private market funds with access to new investments such as OpenAI and SpaceX. Private market funds is something that's not really available to the normal person, right? But SoFi is making it available, and they just announced new private market funds that will allow investors to gain exposure to high-profile names such as OpenAI and SpaceX, and these funds will have very low entry points. This is crazy because SoFi is now democratizing finance, and that's basically Robinhood's slogan. So SoFi took its notes out, right? They took a piece of paper and they said, we want to take the best play from Robinhood. And that's literally what they're doing. So that's what I love. They have taken notes, they have studied what is working and what has worked for other companies. And that's why when you look at the market cap of SoFi, right? Market cap right now, 33 billion. I just made a video. And a lot of you guys, by the way, said, Henry, can't you upload the video right away? It's always a little bit late. It's because I have to edit. And if you want live updates, that's my Discord community. That's where I do everything basically live. That's every single trade that I make. You can check that on the first link in the description. These videos take some time to edit. I'm sorry. But when I went over this on Monday, it was 30 billion. Now it's at 34 billion basically. So that is a really nice increase. In 1 week, SoFi has increased basically, what is it, 10%? From 30 billion market cap to 33 billion. That's a lot of money to be made on SoFi. Now, the market cap for Robinhood has increased from 100 billion to essentially 128 billion from when I was covering Robinhood. So Robinhood stock has had a very massive increase, in fact, even more so than SoFi. And SoFi as a company understands how to grow their business. So they're at 34 billion, but copying Robinhood is what will help them get to $128 billion, which would be multiple times more than what SoFi is worth right now. Now, the reason why SoFi stock is increasing a lot already is because investors realize there is a lot of innovation. For example, option trading. SoFi rolled out level 1 option functionality, letting users do covered calls and cash secured puts in the app. And that feeds back into the cross-sell flywheel effect that Robinhood has, that SoFi has. This business is second to none because they have figured out the cross-selling flywheel effect, and they have built in an ecosystem which locks in completely. I'm looking for a key and a lock right now. I don't got one by me, but it locks in. You're in there, that's it. You can't get out. It's like quicksand, okay? And the reason that they're able to do this is because they have good products, and SoFi continues to show that multi-product users deliver disproportionate value, okay? By the way, I'm doing the same thing in my Discord community. I am now focusing on giving the best service possible, the best results possible, because I realize that the most important thing is customer satisfaction. Is someone actually getting the results and building up reputation? That is why Robinhood, that's why SoFi, that's basically every single business's strong suit. Is if they can deliver, then the rest is basically easy, right? That's what I would like to see in a business myself. That's what I'm now 100% focused on dialing in myself as well. So if you look at SoFi, it's no longer just, a loans business. They're actually pushing members into credit cards, brokerage, and insurance. And that's basically like the Amazon Prime of money. It's basically an Amazon Prime play. Owning one product is just the entry. The magic is getting users to buy into the whole suite. Now you got basically like Apple, right? You buy the Apple iPhone, and then you buy the MacBook, and then, this and that. And the third, we used to sell the charging, like they got Lightning and they got Type C, right? So I have an old iPhone. That's why this right here is Lightning, right? But the rules and regulations said that that's bad for the ecosystem, etc. So now they got Type C for every iPhone. But this was pretty genius because once you have an iPhone, this thing right here was super easy to sell because everyone needs a charger, right? So if you have an older iPhone, that's what you got there, right? And that's, that's just kind of like a sneaky trick that businesses, some of the best businesses do when they know they have a sticky product. And that's what I look for. I look for stickiness. Stickiness builds a very big recurring revenue stream, right? Now, I think you should be aware that SoFi, if you have more than 20% of your money invested in it, that's just too much of your money. That's just like high risk. For me, I think having 10% of your money in SoFi is a pretty good balanced trade to have. And because the market cap just flew from like 30 billion to 34 billion, clearly it makes sense to invest if the momentum continues. If we can hit $40 billion, which I think is probably possible within like 12 to 18 months, and I'm being conservative here, right? I can't predict the future, so I'm trying to be conservative here. But if it were to hit 40 billion, then you would have a really nice return. Okay. Now, I want to talk a little bit more about SoFi, and then we'll go over into Robinhood. We'll analyze some of the technicals on Robinhood. But when it comes to SoFi, and like most fintechs that rent banking infrastructure, which means that they basically partner with banks and APIs and compliance layers, there's a whole lot of back-end processes to really any business, and that increases cost. But SoFi, I like it because they're not really doing that. They're not really renting banking infrastructure. They own the entire banking infrastructure themselves. So this gives them margin leverage, faster product launches, better control over user data, and flexibility to really experiment and function basically like a startup. And that's really, really important. That's why Silicon Valley is a place that companies go to grow, because there's a lot of entrepreneurs, there's a lot of ideas being generated. And when you can implement an idea very quickly, you have all the smartest people in the world. I think Silicon Valley has the smartest people in the world, smarter than Wall Street. Then companies are able to grow very quickly. So if you look at what SoFi is doing with option trading, I'm not going to be surprised. They just expanded to level 1 in September, right? Now we're in October, we're a month later. I really think that they're now going to expand more option trading. It's because option trading is incredibly profitable for businesses to run. And you can see that on Robinhood. Robinhood is a commission-free, but it's not really commission-free. If something is commission-free or something is free in this world, then you are the product, right? Nothing is truly free in this world. The highest, most valuable services, products, platforms, they're not free. Even if it seems to be free, it is not, right? So when it comes to making money, believe me, SoFi will make money. They're already also reportedly working on re-entering blockchain, crypto, and payment rails, like, SoFi stablecoin, international remittance services via blockchain, relaunching their crypto offerings in general. I think SoFi, I don't know, man. I think these guys are hungry to make some money. So we might as well be on the winning team, you know what I'm saying? We might as well be on the winning team, right? And by the way, talking about the winning team, we've been having great results in my community. So, if you're already part of it, congrats. We're going to continue to kill it. But hey, the least that you can do is just subscribe and let's be on the winning team here on YouTube. I'm going to keep giving you guys plays that I believe are good. I was talking about SoFi when it was under $10 per share. So when it comes to results, I'm dialed in. I'll make a bicep over tricep money here. I want you to be part of that. So let's just keep up the gravy train when it comes to my price target. When it comes to support, let's talk about support. I'm very focused on risk management. Support to me is 25. It's pretty clear. Like 25 is pretty clear because right here we didn't even go to 25, did we? We went to 25.02-ish. We went just a little bit under, and then boom, we got a huge explosion. So, that's what support is. If you ask me what is support, this is what support is. Support is when a stock reaches that level that it has a huge explosion up because investors realize that it's way too cheap. That's what support is. Support is investors pile in and the company has massive support at that level because investors are supporting to purchase the stock at that price. That's what support is. Simple, right? So support 25 because we see a nice bounce, and I believe, again, $40 billion market cap, I can see that happening pretty soon. 12 to 18 months, 1.5 years. Now, AMD, by the way, a real quick mention, has been doing very, very well. So I think AMD is going to continue to be a runner. So I'm excited to see what happens there. Now let's talk about Robinhood. Market cap's at 128 billion. P ratio is not cheap. 73 is not cheap. we're going to be having earnings in 1 month. Essentially, 1 month from now, we're going to have earnings on Robinhood. And look, Robinhood is aggressively pushing into prediction markets. So if you think about it, a lot of Americans love prediction markets, which, by the way, if you're not familiar, prediction markets like sports, sports type of stuff like, NFL and NBA. I was betting on tennis myself. So Robinhood, they have crossed 4 billion event contracts traded all time, which is pretty crazy. What do they make? It varies, right? But 4 billion, that's significant revenue because they don't really have any risk. They're just creating a market. They're capturing a spread on other people betting. So I told you guys, Robinhood was a great investment. Like just check on the channel. I told you, beware. This thing's about to take off, and it did. And they're continuing to actively expand. And I told you, be on the side of expansion, guys. There's a lot of option coaches and lots of promises out there. I can't promise nothing, but I'm telling you, I focus on results and risk management, and those are the only two factors that I think matter. It's getting results and focusing on risk, because in a bull market we got to milk the market as much as possible, and then in a bear market we gotta protect ourselves. We gotta manage risk. We have to weather the storm, and there's going to be tough times. And I want you to beware by having proper position sizing. SoFi 10%, Robinhood 10%. That's it. And you got other money to invest elsewhere. But I believe these 10% deserves it, right? When I look at the strengths of Robinhood, I really like they have a very asset light business model. Robinhood doesn't bear credit risk. They don't carry large loan books. It's less exposed to the kinds of default troubles that banks face, right? So, if you know what hits the fan, you know the saying, things hit the fan. I don't want to get in trouble here on YouTube, but when things hit the fan, Robinhood's going to be doing all right. Yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited. I think Robinhood's going to be a great investment that I personally have money in. I have money in Robinhood. You know what? I've been a Robinhood customer for a very long time. Let's open up my Robinhood account real quick, and let me show you my position on Robinhood. And while this thing loads here, let's talk about what else I like. Scalability and optionality. The ability to add new asset classes like futures, prediction markets, tokenized assets. We saw the CEO, Vlad Tenev, talk about that. It gives avenue for Robinhood to still make some more money. So I'm excited about that. Also, global ambition and regulatory first approach. If they can navigate European/UK rules for prediction markets, that's a lot of money, because that's another westernized country, which, Western countries, they, although things are pretty downhill, they still got money. So money-wise, money's good. Money, right? Now, Robinhood here, my portfolio's done very well. Keep in mind, I'm withdrawing money from my account, and I've done very well. But yeah, I got an option right here on Robinhood. I had some options that I sold here, and I got some more options that I sold here on the screen. And I think that option selling, is great on Robinhood, because for me, I'm looking to purchase the stock at a lower price than the current price that it's trading at, and that's why I'm personally selling some put options there. And when I look at the overall business that Robinhood is in, I think it's also very sticky, just like SoFi. Very sticky through engagement. Robinhood is doing something like gamification. They're getting into content. They're doing social features, which makes it a lot more than just a trading platform. It makes it more of a habit, makes it more of a community. And I like that a lot. Community is great. Community is one of the best things that you can have. I think community is very important for support. So yeah, that's something I'm very bullish on. Now, talking about the risks, of course, there's lots of risks in investing. Investing is very risky, right? But when you look at a good business, then really what's risky, in my opinion, is just the short term. In the long term, I don't really see this as really a risk. So let's maybe talk about, let's wrap this up. I talk about some of the short-term challenges. Well, some of those, regulation is a wild card, so prediction markets in some jurisdictions might be classified as gambling rather than finance. Valuation is not really cheap for Robinhood. Competition is intensifying, like SoFi is in the game. So there's a few things to be aware of and to beware of, which is the title of my video. beware that these stocks are volatile. Robinhood, I think, is going to be more volatile than SoFi because Robinhood just rocketed like 43% in the last month, which has been literally hand over fist money for us. But I do expect some volatility going into the future. So I'd be careful. I would, if you use options to hedge, to protect yourself, that would be great. And to have proper position sizing and just to understand that these are great stocks that I believe are going to do very well. But yeah, but beware that Robinhood is up a lot more than SoFi. So I would prefer to maybe even slightly balance a little bit towards more on SoFi and maybe even take a little bit of profit off of Robinhood. But that's my thoughts for today. Make sure to subscribe to this video. I'm going to keep you updated with more research that I'm going to be doing, more of my opinions on the market. I'm not a financial advisor, or I'm just a guy on the internet. I do have a finance degree, but do your research, be smart, and invest safe.